Greetings, talkative, curious, witty Gemini. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and a tarot card reader, and now I'm going to get into the May 2020 forecast, tarot and astrology forecast for the sign of Gemini. And this is a general reading for all Geminis, but I recommend that you contact me directly to have your own cards and planets read. But in the meantime, in between time, you can watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising here, and that can give you a good scope. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising, you definitely need to call me to have your chart done. Everyone should have their chart done at least once in life. It's a great tool for self-awareness and self-discovery. So Gemini, at the beginning of the month, you were coming up as the Nine of Swords reversed, so it looks like liberation. It looks like you were being released from a situation where your hands were tied, or perhaps released from some anxiety. And you're covered by the King of Swords reversed. This is a man who is either withholding communication. At best, he's withholding communication. At worst, he's being deceptive. Crossed by the Eight of Cups, and this is somebody who is looking for the missing piece to complete the full picture of their life. And the basis of the situation is the Ace of Cups, which is the birth of love, the birth of inspiration, the birth of hope. What's leaving is a time of being stalled and delayed and held back. What could come into being is a defeat. What will come into being is an event, but there will be a twist around it, not a normal event. And when I say event, it could be something from very small, like the filming of a video, for instance, is an event, or, you know, something like that. Fears or insecurities, justice, fairness, things working out fairly. Others see you, the Page of Cups. This could mean that there's a young person who's looking up to you. It could also mean that others see you as very sweet and vulnerable and or creative, or someone's looking at you even in a romantic way. The Page of Cups can mean. Positive feelings, the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So this could be that there's delays or postponements in a financial or business situation, but it looks like you feel positive about it nonetheless, Gemini. And the outcome is the Three of Pentacles reversed. This could be not working at the end of the month, so that means taking some time off from working, or else it could, sometimes this signals an incompetent or unskilled worker, so it means you could be dealing with someone who's like that as well at the end of the month. So that is the tarot overview for Gemini, and now I'm going to talk a little bit about the planets. May is a significant month for Gemini. There's a lot going on in the sky in May. There are 4 planetary ingresses and 3 planets go retrograde, which is a lot of planets kind of going retrograde in 1 month. So that's a significant energetic shift that's happening in May. So it's a really great time to get a reading. If you've never had a reading before, this is a perfect time for Gemini. It's your season, and everything is changing. Excuse me, I got a bubble in my throat. I'm a Gemini rising, and so I really relate to this reading as well as I read it to you. May 5th, the true node is moving into Gemini for the next 1.5 years. So this is a very important time for Gemini. Gemini, you have the opportunity to really become aligned with your higher purpose right now. And, you know, one of the ways to do that is through readings are very helpful, and there's many different ways to do that. You know, obviously meditation is helpful, and there's a myriad of ways. If you already are in touch with what your higher purpose is, that's wonderful. And May 7th, this is the full moon of Scorpio. This is a very psychic, very intuitive, very deep full moon. It's a very sexy full moon. Scorpio and Gemini are quincunx, I believe. And so, yeah, that is, there could be questions for Gemini at this time around things like sex, death, rebirth, regeneration, transformation. Those areas of life could be highlighted and bring up questions for you, or misunderstandings that need to be cleared up so that you can learn. May 11th, Saturn goes retrograde in Aquarius at 1 degree Aquarius, and May 11th, Mercury enters Gemini. May 13th, Mars enters Pisces, and Venus goes retrograde in Gemini. So this will be a time where, so when Mercury enters Gemini, you're going to be you're going to be very communicative this month. A lot of speaking, a lot of communicating, a lot of writing. Very, very high surge in that for Gemini this month. Also, when Venus goes retrograde May 13th, Venus is the planet of romance and relationships. It's also the planet of creativity. So in terms of your relationships, Gemini, things will be coming up for review. Things from the past may be coming back to the table to be dealt with. The last time Venus went retrograde was October, the end of October 2018, so a year and a half ago. Venus goes retrograde much less often than Mercury goes retrograde, which everyone is very familiar with. Mercury retrograde has to do with communications. Venus retrograde has to do with relationships, romance. Sometimes it have to do with money. So where Venus goes retrograde in your chart, you can see financial issues come up, relationship issues come up, or creative issues come up. For review, retrograde is often reviewing, or going inward about something, things like this. So again, Gemini, between the Venus retrograde, the nodes shifting, and Mercury entering Gemini, this is an optimum time for Geminis, more than any other sign possibly, to get a reading. Let's see, May 14th, Jupiter goes retrograde in Capricorn, so that's the third planet going retrograde that month. And then, so you see there's this huge energetic shift that we're all going through collectively, and then it's manifesting in our individual lives in different ways. And that's where getting the chart reading comes in so handy, because you can see how it's working on both levels. And we are indeed going through a lot collectively, right? More than ever, people seem to realize that, which is great, because as astrologers, we're always dealing with that idea. But the current events in the world with the coronavirus is letting everyone see in a real physical way how connected we all are, but we're always going through a collective experience similar to the coronavirus, only not necessarily viral, if that makes any sense. Anyway, if you don't get it, we could talk about more of it if you contact me for a reading. So May 20th, the sun moves into Gemini. And so it's your season, Gemini. Happy birthday. May 22nd is the new moon of Gemini. New moons are the best time to plant the seeds of intention that you want to manifest. The Gemini new moon is all about communication. So any kind of communication that you want to clear up, communication that you want to have, communication that you are working on, set intentions around that. If you are a writer, this is a great time to set intentions around whatever you are working on writing-wise, or any new writing project you want to start. This is the time to start it. Anything started now around those Gemini themes is going to be very supported by the universe to reach its full, manifestation. And then the new moon can also be a time if you need to set intentions around learning, around particularly, learning anything new. This is a great time. Also intentions around siblings and or neighbors. It's a great time to set those intentions too at the new moon of Gemini. And then May 28th, Mercury moves into Cancer. When Mercury moves into Cancer, communication becomes very emotional towards the end of the month. And so definitely the prime time for communicating in May is between May 11th, when Mercury enters Gemini, and May 28th, before it enters Mercury, Cancer. Okay, so that's that's the broad overview. Thank you for joining me. If you like the video, give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.leonnicole. I do posts there with updates. And please subscribe to my channel. If you have not already, please share this video with other Geminis. And thank you so much for joining me, Gemini. Have a great May.